Education Secretary Miguel Cardona is facing calls to resign as a National School Board official claims he solicited the letter comparing protesting parents to domestic terrorists. You could tell the letter came from the Secretary of Education because all the spelling mistakes. Thanks, Judge. If you remember, the letter, which the board has since apologized for, called for federal action to address hostilities towards school boards as possible domestic terrorism and suggested using the Patriot Act against parents. Now that's patriotism, arresting a soccer mom for raising her voice at a public meeting. Yeah, basically it's turned concerned parents into ISIS in khakis. How long before they start waterboarding the kids to get their parents' Netflix passwords? But that's politics these days. The government is cool with the Taliban tootling around on abandoned Blackhawks, but they put Mr. and Mrs. Johnson on a watch list for asking why kids are segregated by race. The 3 R's have gone from reading, writing, and arithmetic to racism, racism, racism. Even President Biden's Department of Justice relied on the letter in creating its own memo directing the FBI to investigate threats of violence in order to combat a disturbing trend of harassment of school officials. So we now live in a world where hardened, violent criminals are back on the street 5 minutes after being arrested, but the FBI will kick your door down at dawn with guns drawn if you leave a nasty message on your kid's science teacher's blackboard. Hi, kid, they don't teach science anymore. Basically, Joe weaponized the DOJ to silence people who were making a stink. These school boards tolerate speech like they're substitute teachers with a hangover. They want everybody to sit down and shut up, and no one learns a thing. Of course, since that letter, things have only gotten worse, which could be the motto under Joe's official White House portrait. Witness the performance of him yesterday, emphasis on performance, who in Georgia once again split America into 2 camps. You're either on his side or you're an evil racist. And that's the new shtick. Whose side do you want to be on?
I ask every elected official in America, how do you want to be remembered? At consequential moments in history, they present a choice. Do you want to be on the side of Dr. King or George Wallace? Do you want to be on the side of John Lewis or Bull Connor? Do you want to be on the side of Abraham Lincoln or Jefferson Davis?
Do you want to be on the side of Laverne or Shirley? Ricky or Lucy? How about Hall or Oates? Ooh. Curly or Shemp? Of course, the bad guys in all these comparisons that Joe made are Democrats that Joe actually once loved. I mean, it's Biden who repeatedly praised Wallace in the past, even bragging about being praised by him. I think Biden was his babysitter. But like his phone number and how to get to the Oval Office, he's forgotten all of that. Just as he's forgotten his praise for former Klan leader Robert Byrd. Apparently, the only white sheets Joe knows are the waterproof ones on his bed. That's unfair. That's unfair, Judge. I can't believe you wrote that. So as usual, the so-called uniter did nothing but divide, casting any critic of his election changes as an attack on democracy. And in this effort to get rid of the filibuster, Joe happily screamed at America like the judge does when any staffer makes eye contact with her.
I'm tired of being quiet. Hear me plainly. The battle for the soul of America is not over. We have no option but to change the Senate rules, including getting rid of the filibuster for this. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act. Pass it now. I will defend the right to vote, our democracy against all enemies, foreign and, yes, domestic.
Yes, domestic, meaning you. Man, I would say that didn't age well, but it's only been a day. Joe Biden is aging faster than a dozen deviled eggs in the trunk of my car in August. I mean, listen to this.
I did not walk in the shoes of generations of students who walked these grounds, but I walked other grounds because I'm so damn old I was there as well. They think I'm kidding, man. Seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested.
Oh. Do we know what the he's talking about? No, but that's only because he doesn't know what he's talking about. But once again, it's just him trying to use falsehoods to divert from the truth. This guy came within a mile of a lie detector. It would catch on fire and explode, which seems to be a thing in his administration. Here's top official Jill Sanborn answering Ted Cruz's questions about January 6th.
Sir, I can't answer that. I can't answer that, sir. Sir, I can't answer that. I'm aware of the individual, sir. I don't have the specific background to him. Sir, I cannot answer that question. Sir, similar to the other answers, I cannot answer that. Not to my knowledge, sir.
Sounds like me when I get pulled over without my pants on. It's amazing they hate the Constitution, yet they plead the Fifth more than a mob rat on the witness stand. So I think we're learning what the presidency is turning out to be. It's a game of us versus them, and we are them in a bad way. And if you speak up about school policy, voting integrity, or supporting the police, they'll tear through you like Brian Stelter in a bag of Funyuns. It would be something if Joe tried to reason with the people he disagrees with, but instead, he does worse than write them off. He writes them up as white supremacists, bigots, racists, even terrorists. Makes you long for the good old days. I mean, way, way back to, I don't know, let's say 2019, when the president used to defend rather than condemn Americans.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.